Hi, I'm Matt Kramer, technician out of Hastings, Nebraska.
I'm Matt from the Red Cloud store.
And I'm Shayla from the Fairfield location.
Today we're going to be talking about settings and adjustments and maintenance on the 6 and 700 series flex drapers.
To adjust the cutter bar angle on the cutter bar of your header, on the newer combines they have hydraulic adjust to tip the header back or forward. You want that cutter bar to be running level with the ground, especially if you've changed the tires or the rear axle setting. And the way you do that on an older machine is you have to take 2 bolts loose and a large bolt at the bottom and manually adjust that back or forward to get your cutter bar level with the ground. The proper speed for your feeder house is always, if you have a 5-speed feeder house, on the lowest position of 1, which should automatically adjust to that as soon as you connect the header. On the older machines with the variable, or the newer ones with the variable, either one, you'll have to run that down to the slowest speed possible. You're going to run about 490 to 520 on the back shaft speed. First thing we're going to talk about as far as setup and adjustment is on the belt, part of the flex draper. And as you see over here, there's an adjustment to be made on the belt. You need to keep it and centered up to have the proper tension on the belt so you're not stretching the belts or the belts aren't slipping. The adjustment's made on the end of the machine. You've got a bolt that you adjust to tighten the belts, and you tighten the belt until that centers up around the back side. So you would adjust this one for the alignment of the belt and this one for the tension of the belt. And that's for both sides of the head. To correct the tension on the center belt, what you'll have to do is you'll have to adjust this bolt till it's flush with the framework of the machine, and that'll give the correct tension on that center belt. One of the adjustments that you want to look at on your header, if you're having a real position readings in the cap, an issue with that is you want to make sure that this little indicator or this pin is in this groove of this black poly strip to make sure that it gets the correct reading, because it can get out of the groove and not read the real position. One thing you'll have to change if you go from cutting wheat into cutting soybeans into the flex mode is you're going to have to unlock this header and put these locks back in storage position. These locks, if it was locked up, would be down here under this bolt. You'll have to remove them and put them in the unlocked position and position them here on this hole. And then if you have to go back to Milo, you'll have to lock it back rigid again.
Adjustments for the reel. We got this reel speed sensor here. If you're getting an inaccurate reading on your reel speed, make sure that this is properly adjusted. To adjust it, you run it all the way down until it touches the gear and then back it off 1/2 turn and then lock the lock nuts together. The reel position sensor for the 4 1/2. This little guy right here, if you pull this out, sometimes he'll get out of whack to where it'll want to go like this. Make sure it's caught in this track right here. Your end divider, if you want it to run up a little ways, you want to suck this bolt back just a little bit so this thing is not hitting the ground. You can see it's down all the way now. On older 600 series flex drapers, the end dividers did float with a spring. The newer serial number 600s and 700s will just float without a spring, so there is no tension going up. Your knife drive head, I'm sure most of you guys have had to replace these very end guards because your knife drive wasn't properly aligned. To adjust that, there's a bolt on the back side of the knife drive right here. You take that loose and you can move that up and down just a little bit, and then if you're getting too much forward and backward alignment issues, you can move these knife drives back and forth just a little bit. Guards and hold downs, we got new guards sitting here. Something we see with these old guards is when your edge starts getting rounded off, your cut quality goes down. So we want to make sure we have a nice square edge on these guards here. As far as the hold downs go, the adjustment for those is about 20 thousandths. So if you use a business card, shove under there, that works as a good feeler gauge. These hold downs do wear, as you can see here. This hold down is pretty thin up here, and what we'll run into on these is it will start wearing on the back side of this sickle section and eventually just wear through the back, so you won't have anything touching back here. We want to replace those, otherwise you'll be going through knives like crazy. Your center guards and hold downs, with these flex drapers, they have 2 sickles in them and they're timed to where They're 180 degrees off of each other, so they need to be all the way in or all the way out when you time them. These hold downs here you want to set to a 1/4 inch gap right here. To adjust your reel fingers to have a more aggressive pull to it, this lever up here, you can pull that forward and move it in a couple notches. There is a latch back here. You just pull that out and then you can adjust it from there. For you guys that just got done cutting wheat and are ready to cut some soybeans, we want to make sure that you take your lockouts out and store them in the front position. Any of you guys who have milo, we want to put those back in when we go to cut milo. If you have any questions, contact your local Landmark implement.